How much did you tip the waitress yesterday? When leaving home, how many electrical devices did you leave plugged in? So, to emphasize again, you change the world. Or better said, you create the world. Of course, we cannot predict all the consequences of our all steps we're going to make. We may not know how others think and act and how this is going to affect our doings. We may, but cannot really predict how our words will actually change something. And I say that we don't have to know that. Because it's really enough to realize how much your doings affect the surroundings. And if you can already achieve so much accidentally, then what could you achieve deliberately? And that's where our dog is buried. People today tend to not realize this. They do not realize their impact and thus do not want to react. So, we may ask, why has this happened? Maybe the answer lies in history. For centuries, even millennia, the world had been dominated by powerful leaders and emperors who just had to have it their way. To achieve this, they had to seem all-knowing, powerful and almighty, which meant that the regular crowd, peasants and so forth, had to be small, dumb, and according to their knowledge, powerless. So the rulers made everything in their power to get this message stuck in our small heads. Of course, time has passed and these kinds of dictatorships are in a better place of the Western world long history. But has the message that had been implemented to our brains for so many generations really disappeared? Yes, formally we are good. We have voting, elections, citizen movements and all. But when it comes down to personal impact, everything I just told you, then it seems that, well, no, not really. This even raises the question, how democratic really is our democracy? Have we really achieved what John Stuart Mill asked of us in his prophetic essay, one of the founding manifestos of today's democracy, to liberty? Altogether, we are so used to thinking about advanced technical solutions, complex ideas, waiting for answers from the bigger, more important ones, third parties, that we have completely forgot this simple basic idea. Me. I change the world. I create the world. The situation today is quite drastic, even so that we decided to call it a syndrome, the small people syndrome. And according to our knowledge, the vast majority of the Western world is actually affected by it. Well, not you, of course, otherwise you wouldn't probably be here, right? So what can we do? Let me bring you some examples of what me has done in the past. I'm sure everybody has heard urban myth about United States official language. In dramatic selection events, options were split between German and English. It all came down to the final vote. English won by a single vote because one German favoring guy was sitting in the toilet. Fraud or not, it's a good example of how a single person can change a lot in the world. Can you imagine me holding this lecture in German? Or the free hugs. The Free Hugs campaign was started by Juan Mann in summer 2004 when he started giving out hugs in Sydney. Months before this, Mann had been feeling depressed and lonely because of numerous personal difficulties. However, a random hug from a stranger made an enormous difference, with the man stating that I went to a party one night and a completely random person came up to me and gave me a hug. I felt like king. It was greatest things that ever happened. Juan carried the now iconic 3 hugs sign from the outset. On his first attempt, he had to wait 15 minutes before someone accepted his offer. And now, this action has become a worldwide project involving people in over 80 different countries sharing 3 hugs. Hey, you should try it. There's another citizen-initiated project from tiny Estonia. It was called Teeme ära, or Let's Do It, initiated by Toomas Trapida and Rainer Nõlvak, who are both members of the ELF, Estonian Nature Foundation. The concept was to call up Estonian citizens to participate in a cross-country bid to clean up all the garbage that has been left in different woods around the country, as well the roadsides. At the beginning, they hoped in their biggest dreams that about 40,000 people would attend. Can you believe it? 40,000 people cleaning up the trash and waste made by other people, just for the greater good. So, the initiators started creating contacts, spreading the word, advertising, campaigns. In the end, the project was a huge success because over 50,000 people attended it. Now, compare the numbers. In Estonia, there are about 1.3 million people. Quick math says that about 3% of the whole Estonian population did something for their environment, getting no profit from it whatsoever. And the word is spreading. The neighboring countries are planning similar events. There's also already a new initiation to clean Estonia from the old Soviet-era ruins. That's good, right? Now, everyone remembers William Kamkwamba and his ingenious wind generator. Of course you do. I mean, it's again a great example of what I'm trying to say with my lecture and what TED is all about, making changes, no matter who you are or where you are. You don't need to be a Yale professor, neither a rocket scientist or a known face from the government. You can truly infect everybody. But raise your hands who knows the guys who invented Wikipedia. They are Larry Sanger and Jimmy Wales. But still, Wikipedia, the free source of information for all the world, it's working. And it started from this single, simple idea. 3 years ago, they had, by the way, 1 employee. Brian, the brain. These are just a few, a bit more clear examples of millions that are out there. Sometimes they cannot really be tracked. So many great achievements have got their first initiators from small things, small actions, ideas, small thoughts that something should maybe different. And then these small ideas have evolved and maybe, most certainly changed the history. Changing the world can really be as convenient as sitting down and watching the TV all night. Of course, the other thing also is mass. Many small people doing small things equal in making a one big thing, right? Ideas are spread around by word of mouth. The word of mouth is powerful. It's even more powerful than a flap of a butterfly's wing, because it spreads around at tremendous speed. We exchange our ideas and thoughts every day without generally considering what the after effects will be. We do things and we do not do things. Quite many during a day, in home, at work, even in the street. And generally without considering what the after effects will be. The majority of us are suffering under the small people syndrome. What is the solution? I and my colleagues do not know really. And frankly, we are not trying to find it out either. It's not our task to do that. Small things do matter. Small people do matter. If you change the one central fundamental part of something, it's going to affect everything around it and further away. By holding this speech here today, I have already changed something. In the last 18 minutes, I have, hopefully, for some of you, changed the way you think or see things. If you take these new ideas into consideration when making decisions in the future, this may change our lives dramatically and hopefully for the better. Thank you all. Thank you. And good night.